The Painter of Stars. In a small, quiet town nestled between hills and rivers, lived a man named Elias, known to the locals as the Painter of Stars. He was no magician, no dreamer lost in fantasy, but a man whose heart found solace in the art of capturing the beauty of the night sky on canvas. His studio, a modest space tucked at the town's edge, was filled with easels, half-finished paintings, and the smell of turpentine and wood. For Elias, the world outside his window was a constant source of inspiration, but it was the night sky in all its vastness that held his gaze. Elias was a man of few words, someone who preferred silence to conversation. His solitude was not one of loneliness, but of focus. He spent his days preparing canvases, mixing paints, and sketching, waiting for the moment when dusk would fall and the first stars would appear. It was at that hour, when the sky transformed from a pale blue to a deep indigo, that Elias felt most alive. He would stand by his window, observing the shifting hues of the sky, waiting for the stars to blink into existence. But Elias didn't merely paint what he saw. His work was far more intricate than just reproducing the stars above. He was fascinated by the subtle changes in the night sky, by the way constellations shifted with the seasons, and how the moon's glow influenced the brightness of the stars. He understood that the sky was not static. It was a living, breathing canvas, constantly changing, evolving. His paintings captured this movement, this delicate dance between light and darkness. His passion for the stars began in childhood. Elias's father, a fisherman by trade, had taken him out on clear nights to the roof of their small house. There, under the vast expanse of the heavens, his father would point out the constellations, telling him stories of Orion, Cassiopeia, and the Great Bear. But more than the myths, what captured Elias's imagination was the simple beauty of the night sky, the sense of infinity it conveyed, the quiet stillness that seemed to stretch beyond the stars. When his father passed away, Elias found himself drawn to painting the stars as a way to remember those nights. He felt a connection to the sky, as though in every star he painted, a part of his father still lingered. Over time, his talent grew, and his paintings became more than just representations of the stars. They became expressions of the emotions he couldn't put into words. The town began to take notice of his work, and soon, Elias's paintings were being displayed in galleries and admired by collectors from beyond the region. Despite his growing success, Elias remained humble and solitary. The townspeople saw him as a recluse, someone who kept to himself, but they respected his talent. They often speculated about his loneliness, imagining that his quiet life must be filled with sorrow. But Elias's solitude was not born from sadness. It was born from a deep love for his art, a love that required space and silence to flourish. One night, while working on a particularly large canvas, Elias noticed something unusual. The night sky seemed darker than usual, as though the stars had been swallowed by the blackness. He stood by his window, brush in hand, staring at the sky, trying to understand what was different. For the first time in years, he found himself unable to paint. The sky, usually so full of light and life, now seemed empty, devoid of the very stars that had always inspired him. Over the following days, the town experienced an uncharacteristic spell of cloudy, starless nights. The sky remained hidden behind thick layers of cloud, and Elias, who had always drawn strength from the stars, found himself adrift. His brushes sat unused on his work table, his canvases blank. Without the stars to guide him, Elias felt lost. He began to take long walks through the town at night, seeking solace in the glow of the streetlights and the quiet hum of life around him. But nothing could replace the stars. One evening, as Elias wandered the empty streets, he noticed a young girl sitting on the steps of an old building. Her head was tilted upward, her eyes fixed on the same clouded sky that had troubled Elias for days. Curious, Elias approached her and sat beside her. "They're gone, aren't they?" the girl said, her voice soft but certain. "The stars?" Elias asked, glancing up at the sky. "It seems that way. My mom used to say the stars are always there, even when we can't see them." Her words, so simple and innocent, struck Elias deeply. He had been so focused on painting what was visible that he had forgotten the deeper truth. The stars didn't cease to exist just because they couldn't be seen. They were always there, constant and unwavering, hidden behind the clouds, but still shining. That night, Elias returned to his studio with a renewed sense of purpose. He pulled out a fresh canvas and, for the first time, painted not what he could see, but what he knew was there. His brush moved slowly, deliberately, as he captured the faint glow of stars breaking through the thick veil of clouds. The constellations emerged softly, barely visible, but present, like the quiet persistence of hope in the darkest of times. When he finished, Elias stepped back and looked at the painting. It wasn't like his other works, which were filled with bright stars and clear skies. This one was subtle, almost melancholy, but it held a quiet strength. It was a reminder that beauty exists even in the unseen, and that sometimes what we can't see can inspire more than what's right in front of us. Elias titled the painting The Hidden Sky, and it quickly became one of his most cherished works. The townspeople were drawn to it, coming from all around, to see how Elias had captured the mystery of the night, even when the stars were hidden from view. There was something comforting about the painting, something that reminded them that even in the darkest moments, light still existed, waiting to break through. As the clouds eventually cleared and the stars returned to their rightful place in the night sky, Elias continued to paint. But his perspective had shifted. He no longer painted just the stars that were visible to the eye. He painted the emotions they evoked, the quiet moments between their shining, the beauty in the darkness itself. His work evolved, becoming less about the stars themselves and more about the feeling they created, the sense of wonder, of infinity, of hope. And so Elias, the painter of stars, continued his solitary work. But now he painted not just for himself, but for those who, like the young girl on the steps, believed that the stars were always there, even when hidden. His paintings became a testament to the quiet beauty that exists in the unseen, a reminder that the light is always there, waiting to break through the darkest of skies. In the end, Elias realized that he was not just a painter of stars, he was a painter of hope, of perseverance, and of the enduring light that exists in all things, even when we cannot see it. And with every stroke of his brush, he brought a little more light into the world.